Time now for this week's shocking stat of the week, and I'm going to be quick with this one. I've been critical. I cringe every time I hear things from politicians that says everything's okay. In Canada, it's not sunny ways on native reserves or Vancouver's downtown east side, the homeless tent cities across the country in certain areas, and with those who lost their job in the energy sector. In the States, it's not great in America. They're 95 permanently unemployed, civil unrest, disgraceful inner-city schools and violence, which brings me to this week's shocking stat. I have chronicled the gun violence in Chicago twice this year, but it keeps getting worse. Last weekend, as tallied by the Chicago Tribune, the city recorded its largest mass shooting since 2014. 8 people, last weekend alone, 8 people were murdered, 40 were wounded. One weekend. In total, there has been 605 people murdered in Chicago so far in 2016. Obviously an average of greater than 2 per day, 45% increase versus last year. 3,475 people have been shot so far this year. Think of that. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Many people have attributed the rise in Chicago violence to the so-called Ferguson effect, back to confidence, back to trust in government, because so many people lash out against what they view as a delegitimized police force, while the police then are forced to retreat from actually enforcing the law out of fear of inciting the next major riot. We saw a Chicago police officer beaten because she didn't want to draw her gun and get the national scrutiny that goes along with this. The point is, none of those kind of descriptions can do justice to the fact that 605 people have been murdered in Chicago in 2016, 8 last weekend alone, with 40 wounded.